present the story of a tall, muscular, and handsome man called Arilao. Far, far away, a little Lotha hamlet was thatched. An old widow named Nongkaroni and her young son Arilao occupied the hut. The father had passed away a long time ago. Arilao was known for being the epitome of what every Lotha man should be. He was tall, handsome, muscular, and mastered in all the arts. His fame overshone the village lads. The other young men tried to woo the beloveds but were rejected. Frustrated, the young men decided to take matters into their own hands. One fine morning, all the young men of the village had a secret meeting. They gathered deep in the village forest to hatch a plan to kill Arilao.
Arilao ni bide achibi moi maiki tabar se khaje. Sob maiki taibai lu dekhi. Amawi tai ni bide mande saina example se puna hotai kali khadeni. Man ki bai ta to khulu lagibo.
Usa se Arilao pusti de thagade apne kla noi mo kam sob ek party bar reject hui na se. Pusti ma khitai ja bhalo. Hoi monjur ase. Khetawo. Holibi Arilao ge sob manu pusti manu jani. Iman bhal manu ase tai. Khedai lebi bosti manu de ki kobo itu bhamna kor lage amni gan reject gorabi huni se muimi tuiba reject huise Arilao gamne do manso bena thakile biabo man tage prai puri dibo noile tage sati guri dia phalo oishe sadra itu Arilao gane bogala ebali kotha bolubo tage borai jai phalo murai dibo.
Everyone shouted in agreement. Only one man among them stood rooted, refusing to join in on their evil. He was none other than Arilao's best friend.
Hey, Sadigan, all of Tanda Wina, Tima. Arilao the Mola best friend is it? Childhood friend is it? Hunting, fishing. What the big lot Chasinoy, the gun. Aruna Marola Kille, Van Correze, the Pianoy.
Do you go abi hosa ase? Holibi. Pusti yut sob tai ni bide tupai ase. Itu no hobo. Mari dibo. Monjur ase na. Acha, to kali fishing jao. Idame tai ke matina dibi. Now hamde nuti pungjam de moi ho ode. Sob mang tai ke mari na nuti philai dibo. Chalo, tai ke mari dibo.
The next morning, Arilao set out with his lunch. His mother tried persuading him against to go out, but Arilao insisted and the mother eventually gave in to his demands.
Ayo achido satya amade master ole jawana ge
Arilao amadu biya sapna paina se itu karni najabi apni kiba holi do amadu mundu pramuri jabo najabi
kono ayo ini jagina ode
tolra jabi de ama apni ki rukhi thakibo.
On their way to the river, the young men merrily sang folk songs on their way. After they reached the riverside, one of the men suggested they play a game of Ono of who would look the best amongst them. One by one, each of them came forth, but were told, "No, you don't look good at all." When Arilao's came, everyone shouted, "Yes, you look the best." They started singing, "Ho, ho, ho, ho," which was the cue for them to start attacking Arilao. The heartless young man kept thrashing him despite his shouts of mercy. Arilao's friend had gone away and sat downstream. As if by divine design, Arilao's nail reached the place where he was sitting. He picked up the nail to keep as a memento of his dear friend. The young men rejoiced, they fished, and took home a feast. As soon as they arrived, they saw the old men and women standing at the village meeting place waiting for their supper. When Arilao's mother approached them to ask of what happened to Arilao and where was his son, They lied to her with the agreed alibi.
Ango, arilo do ko de ase. Ango, arilo do kile mapasanay.
Arilo ma, aji din bi si pya thakise. Aji nudiman damore, karanman thade. Arilo de najabi ma sunule buchi tai. Namani na kusina nudila karan ba lui jaise. Bi si pya thakise.
Ayo, aji do arilo mona de aho parana piana paide.
Everyone started weeping for Arilo, but the mother stood still like a mute statue. Her mother's instinct told her that something about his son's death was not right. She called the best friend aside and gently coaxed him to tell her the truth and asked her question.
Ango, Arilo ni duijon do dada bahi nishna pachatanra khabi khilabi gumabi eksak takshe to apni kile tai ki ina tukai dishe. Amado buri hushe amagi ku misa na ko yar ki husa se tu ko itya.
Arilo lama moi kusa koi dibo. Idu da sob blend na kise. Aro tai kan bra nudi de chawo gana chokai gina mari gina morai dise. Aro pani de pelai dise. Aro moi do tai ke chuli de bi chura na. Itu ya anu parise tala tha.
Ango nakan diwi. Tekhan biya kam krishe to tekhan do purde itu biya ahibo. Justice will be served.
Life went on as usual and the village soon forgot about the death of Arilo. As the years passed, the young men married and had families of their own. Seasons changed. It was now the season of harvest. Children were not taken on these days because of the amount of work. During the village meeting, Arilo's mother volunteered to take care of their children as she had no children nor no field of her own.
Busti
She
manukan.
offered to slaughter the pig she was raising for the children.
Busti manukan. Busti manukan. Aji moi gauri dangor katiwale ase. Itu karni apni khandu muntuk na hoina khiti de jabe aur bahal rakam kuri. Mo bacha khandu sob side wo pat khilai dibo.
Arilo ma, bishi kushibaishi amnige na guado. Kushi dhanyawad. Amnige mon damoina bajan ba amnige hatira khidude. To
Acha.
jamde.
The villagers happily accepted her kind gesture and left for the fields. Unknown to the villagers, Nangham had promised to avenge her innocent son's cruel death.
Ayo, kelai na.
Khilai dibo bat khilai dibo.
She cooked and fed the children and led them inside her hut.
Bacha kan aji mo kan game khiliwa de.
She told them that she needed them to cover all the holes they saw in the hut.
Gode chanda dikhas na nai.
Kya se?
To chanda kan sob fill kori hoy de.
Kisa ayo.
When the last hole was finally shut, she locked her hut from the outside with a single piece of wood to make sure that the children would not get out. She then took a big torch and lit it in fire. She took it and burned the hut on fire. The children cried and asked her to let them out, but it was of no avail. As the villagers noticed the smoke, a single solitary crow perched on a big tree sang, "Caw, caw, caw, Langkaroni has killed all the village children." They hurried back to their village. By the time they had reached, the smoke had engulfed the entire village. Eventually, only one boy and one girl, all their children were dead. The villagers turned hysterical and everyone started laying claim to them. The children being pulled in all directions, their bodies were dismembered and they died too. The entire village mourned for the loss of their children. They finally remembered how unfairly and heartlessly they had killed Arilo and regretted it, but alas, it was all too late. The aggrieved villagers looked around for Langkaroni, but she had disappeared without a trace. But her spirit is said to live in the bamboo stalk till this day. And with that, we end our drama. Thank you.